The Miami Hurricanes go down swinging. Is the Big Ten the king of college football? And the Ducks are chasing a big fish in the transfer portal. All of that and more here on the Ducks Confidential podcast. I am Aaron Fentress of the Oregonian OregonLive, and he is George Wrighster of the Unafraid Show. We were supposed to record earlier, but his wife was like, "This is my birthday, fool. You didn't spend the day with me." So I got stiff-armed. And pushed down the line. Total disrespect, but it's all good because it was for wifey. How you doing?
Yeah, man, I ain't got to sleep next to you at night, so so that's always going to win out.
It was like, I can't go right now. My wife's birthday. She's making me do stuff.
Yes.
That's good. What'd you get her? Dodgers tickets?
No. We already have Dodgers season tickets. I got her. So she always talks about this gift that I made the first year that we got together for her birthday or Valentine's Day, one of them, because they're close together. I forgot. I made her a card, right? And I'm not like a crafty person. I went down to Michael's or Joann's or whatever it was, bought all this stuff and cut it out and all this stuff.
Wow.
So this year is her 50th. So
does she know you're saying that on podcast?
It's not a secret, bro. She's been on TV shows and stuff, so everybody knows how old she is. So I got not every single person, but most significant people in her life to write her a letter, right? Mm-hmm. So they sent them all to me. I printed them all out. Printed out pictures of her and those individual people. So I made like a scrapbook almost, like with the letter, pictures from her, like decorated it, all of this stuff. And none of the kids helped me. I did it myself. So like people from work that she's worked with and all of this stuff. So I gave it to her and she was crying.
Aww.
So it won.
Wow. Just baking brownies by the batches.
What?
Those brownie points.
About 2 months of goodwill off of that,
2
bro.
months.
2 months goodwill.
All right. Well, I'm going to need about 2 months to get over the back-to-back dose of football emotional heartbreak I experienced.
Okay.
Because I know you put out a tweet to check on me. And, the Bears suffered a loss to the Rams with an overtime interception by Caleb, which was,
but you expected
the receiver's fault.
The first game of the playoffs, so
no, it was playing with house money, but it's how it's losing that way. It's being so close, right? It's plus with that ridiculous, ridiculous game time touchdown to commit, and so then the next night, my favorite college team loses with an interception late against Indiana in the national championship game. So back-to-back nights of that. That's never before in the history of my fandom have the Bears and the Miami Hurricanes played on back-to-back nights in playoff situations. So that was a little interesting. But I'm okay.
Hurt more?
I think the Miami one. I think the Miami one because again, I didn't expect the Bears. I wanted the Bears to go 9-7, get in the playoffs. They went 11-6, won the division, won a playoff game. I think the Rams were better. I think Indiana was better than Miami, but the fact that they had the ball, the chance to drive to win it, and the quarterback just without any pressure, just a poor underthrow for a pick to end it like that is just extremely frustrating.
It wasn't even just an underthrow. Like he threw it like there were no defenders. Like it would have been, it would have been caught had there been no defenders.
No one else on the field. Yeah. So that was a tease because I thought the block punt. 17-7. I thought that might have been toast.
Too. I'm not even gonna lie. I thought it was over.
But dude,
I tweeted.
They came back. They came back. It's like they showed moxie. I'm like, oh man. So that hurt a little bit more because of the tease and because it's been 24 years since they won it. But still, great season for Miami. But I've seen you out there, and I've seen Jeff Schwartz out there, and other people out there talking about the Big Ten. They've won 3 straight national championships. I've seen you already complaining about the far too early polls for next year coming out and having too many SEC teams. So I'm gonna give you a minute to crow about the Big Ten. Is the Big Ten the best conference in college football?
Hold on. First thing, I want to bring up something about Carson Beck because I'm not sure. And this is actually a sad stat. So in his 6 seasons of college football, right, he has finished games. I want to make sure that, in the games on his throws to end games, right?
Okay.
His last throw of the season, 4 out of the 6 have ended on an interception.
And the 2 are the ones he barely played, right? Because his red shirt in COVID years, his first 2 years, he didn't play that much.
but the last throw of, I guess it was like the SEC championship, and then like of certain games. Like,
but I'm saying it's all 4 years when he was a starter.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That they all ended in picks.
Damn.
That's rough.
That is rough. Do you think he has an NFL future?
Yeah, he'll go to the NFL. Yeah. It's just a matter of how well he'll do in the NFL. The issue is that he doesn't do well under pressure, and he's old. That's the thing that's kind of alarming is that when there's a lot of bodies in his and granted, most quarterbacks, they go down, like their accuracy, everything goes down except for Drake May and Herbert this year, who were under pressure. When they were pressured, they were the best in the league. But it's just not like he's a good quarterback. But even in watching Miami, I was confused at times, right? Because when I know how Mario Cristobal likes to play offense, like he'll put his thumb on the offense. They're gonna play conservative, all of that stuff. But then you think about what he did with Cam Ward, and whether it was Cam Ward being like, "No, we not doing this, coach." Like why did he believe in Cam Ward so much and play a totally different style of offense than he ever did compared to this year? If you're going to pay $4 million for a quarterback, why are we putting together a game plan like we got to protect him?
Right.
And then he came up big in the Ole Miss game, but prior to that, he hadn't completed a pass in the second half beyond 10 yards. I'm sorry, in front of the line of scrimmage. And then in the Ohio State game, he didn't even complete a pass further than 10 yards down the field. And they weren't really throwing any. So it's like, why are you trying to protect somebody and all that? So that's like the biggest question, which kind of leads to Miami's pursuit of Darian Mensah, which we'll get to when we get to like the transfer portal stuff. But it's wild. But now on to the question that you asked me. Is the Big Ten the best conference? Yes.
Is it?
Yes. The Big Ten is the best conference in college football. And when you think about, and that's right now, right? So I would have conceded the fact that the SEC may have, that the SEC had fewer high-end teams than the Big Ten. But then when you got down to the bottom of the Big Ten, I think that this year in particular, the bottom of the Big Ten was worse than the bottom of the SEC. Okay. But at the top and the middle were that you got to give the edge to the Big Ten. But now coming up next year, when you look at UCLA getting Bob Chesney, Penn State reloading, essentially getting Matt Campbell. They got a quarterback who's in Rocco Beck, who's been very good. They have done well in the transfer portal. Michigan with Kyle Whittingham. And Michigan wasn't bad last year. And they didn't really lose players. They only added players. And then you add a fantastic coach. Michigan State now has Pat Fitzgerald. They're going to be improved next season. Iowa, if they can get some semblance of offense, would be a bigger problem than they already are. You have to expect that Indiana replacing replacing Fernando Mendoza with Josh Hoover, that they'll be like I know it's only been 2 years, but there's no reason to believe that Kurt Cignetti is going to put out a bad football team. You know what I mean? Like they're at least going to be competitive next year, even if they're just a 9-win team. They're still going to beat people. Ohio State's going to be good. Oregon's going to be good. USC will at least be what they were this year. Like this is, and I know I'm missing somebody at the top of the big. Illinois is going to be a competitive team. Like this is not
Huskies.
Yes, and then Washington, bro. This is not. There are no layups. Even the Northwestern can beat teams at times if you don't show up with your A game. Rutgers is on the climb, and I believe that that people can, they make all these excuses, Aaron. Oh, it's because you can pay players now and kids wouldn't leave the South. No, kids, is that the reason why people don't want to sit and be backups. And then that's the narrative too, Aaron. They're like, oh, they don't want to be backups in the SEC. Well, who was the best quarterback in the SEC this year, Aaron?
That's a good question. Was it Simpson?
But you could argue it was Trinidad Chambliss, right?
Okay.
He's from Ferris State. Who was probably the best running back in the SEC? Ahmad Hardy from Missouri. He came from a small school. So some of the best, and then like one of the best receivers in the SEC, same thing. So this whole narrative that, oh, it's the SEC programs. Is it really? Because some of your most dominant players were like transfers in from places that y'all swore that they couldn't play from. Right. And now you're getting coaches from some of your best coaches are not SEC guys.
Clearly before, the top SEC programs could just load up on dudes. Yep. And we know that some were paying under the table. And then those guys are trapped unless the program lets them leave. And even then, they got to sit out. And to get someone to transfer up, like for Missouri, I need a running back. If someone's going to transfer up to me, they'd have to sit out a year. But now it's a free-for-all. You can steal SEC's depth, the top team's depth. Yep. You can bring up anyone from anywhere to instantly plug in. And so that balances things out. Look what happened
to Oregon's depth this year.
Yeah.
They had to go get depth from other places, and they actually got some very good players that I've had a chance to look at that I'm super excited for. They got them at 50% on the dollar for what the guys going out were getting, but you don't lose those players without this system being in place.
Exactly.
And so I don't want to hear the SEC crying and complaining about it. Bro, they were paying people under the table for a long time. Let's not sit here and act like all of a sudden.
Yeah, let's not pretend that Nick Saban won 7 national titles because they were completely squeaky clean.
Yeah.
No one's buying that. All right. Okay. Speaking of a lack of being squeaky clean, so I'm going to display what fandom objectivity looks like. I'm a Miami Hurricane fan. Come on. I've been one.
Teach us, oh wise one.
I've been one forever. And there's numerous times when I will point out something, about Oregon. I'm not really hating on Oregon. I'm just pointing out things. Like they haven't developed their own quarterback really since Herbert. They recruited 15 defensive backs in the last 3 or 4 years, but yet they're out in the transfer portal getting defensive backs to fill holes because maybe they missed on some dudes or what have you, whatever. We can argue about that all we want. But I can say the same thing about Mario Cristobal and other positions, as well as quarterback. He's been there 4 years, and they have yet to come close to recruiting and developing a quarterback. And so they went out and got Cam Ward. They went out and got Beck. And now they're reportedly out there trying to steal Duke's Mensa, even though Mensa has a contract. Now, as a Miami fan, I'm looking at quarterback. I'm like, damn, they don't have one for next year, really. If they can get this Duke kid, though, woo, that's pretty nice. So I'm not going to lie. There's a part of me that's like, yeah, get the Duke kid. But the objective part of me is just grossed out by how unseemly the entire thing is. It's so ugly. That dude is under contract. And you just went in and said, yeah, you're under contract, but we're going to give you a boatload of money, buy out that contract, and steal you. And you play for a conference rival. It is just...
It was a team that won the ACC last year.
Yeah, and so even next year, so let's say this goes down and they get him. Now, I guarantee you, I'm going to be sitting there watching Miami, yay Mensa, but also like, yeah, this is just ugly. The NCAA or whomever has to fix this. You should not be able to sign a contract basically telling that team, I'm playing for you. So then the team doesn't go out and recruit a quarterback. All the good quarterbacks go off the board. And then now you're like, I think I'm going to leave for Miami because they're going to need more money. It is just gross. Right. What say you?
So I 100% agree with you in terms of it being gross. But I'm not mad at Miami because when you look at the system that we're in right now, think about all the people, Aaron, that were talking about, oh, Dan Lanning has to be on the hot seat and everything like that, right? Coaches, as much as they don't want to admit it, hear these things, right? And even if they don't give that any mind, you can't ignore James Franklin getting fired last year. You cannot ignore that, because his amount of winning and history, none of that has said that guy gets fired. You hear me? Like, the last time that we saw a guy like that get fired, even remotely close to that, would have been like Mark Richt at Georgia. Like, that's the last time that, and he wasn't even doing as good as James Franklin is.
Right.
So if you're a coach and you know that, and you're looking at your roster and you have recruited these high school quarterbacks, and you're looking at him and you're like, he hasn't played yet. I think he might be okay, but am I going to risk my job over that?
Exactly.
Nah. And you actually might have a gold mine sitting there. But do you think that if you put Chip Kelly in that 2010 team that went to, what was that, the Fiesta Bowl? And
2010 went to the national championship. Yeah, they rolled the dice on Thomas after Masoli got kicked off the team.
Yes. So Darren Thomas. So do you think, Aaron, if we were in this era, that Chip Kelly tells Darren Thomas, I don't think you're going to be our quarterback next year, or you're going to be in a competition with a freshman?
Wait, so you mean after the Rose Bowl?
Yeah,
Yes, 11 they won the Rose Bowl.
Yes,
and
correct.
Mariota redshirted that year.
Yes, yeah. There we go. If we're in that era, if we're in this era, do you think that Chip makes that same decision
and tells Darren that he might go with Marcus?
Basically to get lost for a freshman who's never played.
Well, I think that's an outlier, because Marcus was basically like Luke Skywalker or Anakin Skywalker behind closed doors, is what all the reports were.
Well,
so
true,
yeah,
true.
So that might be.
It has to be that. So you're probably right about that, because I did hear that too.
More likely, let's go to when Masoli is getting kicked off the team. Are you going to roll the dice on Darren Thomas as opposed to hitting the transfer portal?
There you go.
They hit the portal in a heartbeat if they can.
There you go. Because you're like, bro, I'm not trusting my job. I get fired. I could have had the biggest contract in the world and get fired in 1 year.
Yeah.
One bad year. So that's the point. And I understand why Miami did it, but I also am frustrated as a college football fan. So I'm, on one hand, I'm not going to be the person that says college football is broken. It's not, because the ratings and the interest have never been higher. So you can't say, like, the
that
on-field
doesn't mean
product,
it's not broken, though.
No,
that just means people are watching.
No, I'm saying is that, like, you can't, is people are saying, oh, I hate college football now and this. You hate some parts of it, but the interest and ratings are going up. Right. So it tells you that what's going on the field is excellent, while you have problems off the field. And this is one of the off the field problems that has to get fixed. And you just had the House versus the NCAA, that lawsuit, which created the revenue sharing, the $2.8 billion. It created the salary cap, which I told everybody was not going to be a real thing. It was like, it was vapor. It was fake. And then the schools, after begging for congressional help, begging for all of this stuff, all they really are begging for is an antitrust exemption so they can do whatever they want to do and make whatever rules, no matter whether they hurt the players or not. But the reality is that until you get collective bargaining where the players are negotiating with, and I know that's normally an employee-employer relationship, but you can get into a special exemption for that, where the players can then negotiate with one entity, not the SEC and the Big Ten. Everybody is negotiating on behalf of all the conferences. The players, they then negotiate contracts. They negotiate in terms of like the standard language that has to be in the contract, who can represent players as agents, who can represent like what the actual transfer rules are, all of this stuff. So then you won't end up in a situation where Duke is now suing Darian Mensah the way he can't enroll. So he's in the transfer portal because they lost the temporary restraining order, but the actual restraining order that case is going to be held on February 2nd. So Darian Mensah is in the transfer portal, but he's not allowed to enroll anywhere. And him getting enrolled so late now puts his eligibility to practice in spring ball in complete jeopardy. So what happens here is going to be a landmark situation, because if Mensah wins, all the schools that with the House settlement who have refused to sign on with the College Sports Commission, the way there's enforcement, all of them, they're all going to be like, no. We need to sign this, because then otherwise players, what's the use of having a contract if you got to pay them and then they'll just bounce and it don't matter and they can just do it.
Exactly.
So this is a problem, Aaron, that I feel like we're getting pushed in the right direction. So part of me wants Mensah to win. But then also, if Mensah doesn't win, now schools are going to be like, okay, cool. But between Demond Williams and between Mensah, we're not going to get people doing this because they've seen that they're going to lose. So either way works.
I hear you. We'll see what happens. Now, like Miami's after a big fish, the Ducks are after an even bigger fish from a size perspective. 6'5", 330-pound left tackle Jordan Seaton, who was a sophomore this past year at Colorado, second team all Big 12. He's a 5-star transfer. He was a 5-star recruit a couple years ago, the number 1 rated tackle in the country, number 1 rated offensive lineman in the transfer portal, number 4 player overall. He has been linked to Oregon and mainly LSU, which LSU fans are claiming, or reports are claiming, that he pretty much committed to them, and then maybe he wasn't committed to them. He visited Mississippi State. He was supposed to visit Oregon, but didn't. But Dan Lanning went and visited him a couple days ago, and Jordan put out a picture of him with Lanning and Terry, the offensive line coach, and that's the last thing that Seaton has tweeted. Blah, 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 blah. So let's cut to So one of the things we're going to do here today is we're going to look at the offensive depth chart and where the strengths are, where the weaknesses are, and what they need. To me, if they get this guy, it elevates everything, because the offensive line does have some question marks. They lost 3 starters, including their tackles. They've got some promising pieces, but this guy is like, in NFL terms, getting Anthony Munoz almost. For those of you guys who remember, I dated myself with that, but you know, Orlando Pace, is that close enough? I don't know, but this would be a huge get. Where do you think this is right now as we sit on Thursday afternoon? Yeah.
This would be like getting Penei Sewell, okay?
Ooh,
No. Where, like, I'm saying, like, we knew that Penei, like, I don't know if Seaton's going to go to he's going to be a top 10 pick if he gets coached, if he continues to get coached up and develop the way the trajectory goes.
Right.
An Oregon coach told me that he's a top 5 pick lock, especially if he just continues on the course that he's on. Top 5 pick. I believe that he's in a situation that getting this kid, it's like a cherry on top, because Terry has done a phenomenal job with this offensive line. They've put out a very good offensive line every year. This would just be one of those years where it's like, oh, Lord have mercy. Like, you would be adding not only a productive player, but a top tier player. So I'm not saying he's going to go off and be Penei Sewell in the NFL and be an all-pro, but I do believe that he would be, like, he's going to be probably the best tackle in college football, which which puts you at a unique advantage. You know, because now when the David Baileys of the world, when the Reuben Baines, and I know that these guys are going to the NFL, but I'm saying whoever those guys are for next year, you're not going to be worried about your quarterback standing back there. He might win every now and then, but your tackle is going to win a lot more.
Absolutely. And I mean, he would put a lock on the backside for Dante Moore. I mean, it would just be, it's the next best thing they could do to adding a Dante Moore if they didn't have a quarterback.
Yes.
Would be adding a guy like this. And the ripple effect along the line, because right now, if we look at their depth chart right now, we're looking at left tackle being Fox Crater, who's a redshirt sophomore, who was a 4-star kid a couple years ago. He did well in replacement duty this year. He's probably going to be very good, but is he ready to start 15, 16 games at left tackle and be an elite high-end left tackle behind your quarterback? Do we know that for sure? We don't know he's not going to be, but we don't know for sure that he is.
Question. If your option is to risk that or get Jordan Seaton, you're probably at least going to try to get Seaton.
Gots to.
And then if you don't, okay, because I do believe that Oregon feels like that it needs to make sense for them, that these numbers can't be so far out of whack. And I also believe that, you know, that Seaton, I think he's not confused, but he's got to figure out what he wants for sure, right? Because okay, so do you want the most money right now? Because I have been told that Oregon is not the highest offer.
Right. I assume LSU is, right?
Yeah, and there's another team that's creeping around too, which is Miami.
Ooh, Mario.
They're trying to get him. Oh, now all of a sudden his ears perk up like,
ooh, Mensa and Seaton? Ooh.
Yeah. So like imagine that. Whoa. Sorry. I knocked my microphone down. I'm
trying to find some because I saw a report earlier.
I fat fingered it.
I thought I messaged somebody. I saw a report though that was saying that the number for him was maybe around 3 million.
Yes.
For a left tackle.
Yes.
Which is just, I mean, I'm not shocked, but it's still when I read it. So, okay, see, I can't remember who this is from. Seaton's starting NIL asking price was $2.5 million. It's since grown to a rumored $4 million, a bidding war between two of the nation's wealthiest programs, Oregon, LSU, only drives the price. Damn.
Okay, so I cannot confirm, okay, that Oregon is in the 4 to 5. I am very confident Oregon is not in that territory.
You said they're not the highest bidder, right?
Yes.
You said they're not the highest bidder. Okay.
Yes, they're not the highest bidder. And there comes a point where the kid has to decide what's most important to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because Oregon has been putting out offensive linemen at a very high clip, right? And doing a really good job at tackle in particular. So now, if you're going to go get coached up, Lane Kiffin doesn't really have a history of putting out first round O-linemen. So if I'm him, my two options for my kid would probably be Oregon or Miami, because Alik Terry, who came up under Mirabal, like those are like they're two of the 3 or 4 best offensive line coaches in college football. And you got to put Iowa's up there too, because they just can consistently do it. And so I am going somewhere where like I'm going to get coached up. So if you're worried about $500,000, $700,000 right now, and you go take that to go to LSU, you might be mortgaging $40-50 million in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it's just, I just think that you just have to be long-term thinking. And it's hard for kids to do that because, like our whole culture and just people in general, like just suffer from, the delayed gratification. It's hard, especially when you're young.
Now, apparently, there's reports out there that his uncle, I think his name's Khalil, has been pushing for Oregon, and that's why he didn't commit to LSU, because he was pretty much a done deal at LSU, but his uncle's pushing for Oregon.
LSU was trying to keep him down there as long as possible.
Right, because he visited there, right?
Yes, and they were trying to keep him there. And he found a way to get up out of there. It's like they were not holding him against his will, obviously. He's a big man to be holding up against his will. But you know how people just, hey, let's take you to the governor's mansion. Soon as you leave the governor's mansion, let's head over to go see the mayor. Let's go do this. And it's like, hey, bro, I got things to do.
I gotta bounce. All right, what's your crystal ball on this?
Just one more thing. Just one more thing.
Meet Shaq. Yeah. He went to LSU. All right, what's your crystal ball on him?
Oh, God.
And it could go down today or tomorrow, right? That's not over this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Oregon 60, LSU 30, Miami 10.
Boo. No, I'm kidding. Actually, just let me be honest here. I believe Oregon has a really, really good look next year with Dante coming back and all the other players are coming back. The only weakness I see is that there's some questions on the O-line. I would actually rather see this kid come to Oregon than go to Miami. Just put that out there. I know that may sound contradictory, but I cover the Ducks, and I think this would be a huge get for them and give Dante the best chance to have the best success he could next season.
Aaron doing the company work right now. He's thinking about his own future right now.
No, I don't think it impacts my future other than the fact that it'd be more interesting to cover if this were to happen.
That's what I'm saying. That you like, hey, let's keep covering winning teams is doing a good job doing it. Hey, man,
all right.
How much better has this year been doing the whole season of a podcast with me and getting a chance to cover the Ducks instead of covering the Blazers? Your life improved. And that actually caused you to be able to see your kids even more who go to Oregon. Bro, you are winning. You are living the American dream right now.
When the switch was made, I was against it because I was entrenched with the Blazers, but then the head coach got arrested and he's gone. My boy Anthony's gone, and it's the Ducks have been pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. And I love football. I know. I escaped madness there. So it is what it is. All right. So if Seaton comes, he's left tackle. It'd be interesting to see if Fox Crater can compete with Janoris Wilson on the right tackle side. And they also brought in Michael Bennett from Yale, who has 28 starts under his belt.
Inside, though. So
let me ask you this, because I saw different things, and I haven't watched any Yale tape, but he plays right guard or right tackle, but he primarily played right tackle, right?
Yes.
Okay, but he can also play right guard, but they don't need a right guard because they're returning Iuli there.
Yeah, but Iuli may be able to bump over to the left. Like the Oregon typically recruits versatile players. Right. Had Oregon had a better option at right tackle, they probably would have moved Harkey down because he's going to be a guard in the NFL.
Gotcha. Okay, so and you got Kawika Rogers, you got Douglas Utu, former 4-star kid who's bubbling up too. Poncho's back. That's huge. He's going to anchor this thing. So Dave can move to left guard, and then Bennett could play right guard, and you got Wilson or Crater at tackle, or you got Crater at left tackle with Janoris at right tackle. So there's some bodies to move around and some things to do, but adding Jordan Seaton would be just ginormous. We all agree with that.
Yes.
Because that would just lock down the left side, and now you're just like, okay, we're just playing with house money now. All right, let's move. Anyone else offensive line? That's pretty much the main guys. There'll be some other kids bubbling. Okay, quarterbacks are given. You got Dante coming back, which is huge. You got Raiola, probably the backup. And then Brock Thomas at number 3. What's going to happen with Achilles Smith Jr.? He's kind of been put in the catch-22 because Raiola has a red shirt 2 years after that. Okay. So if they don't have to burn his red shirt as the backup, he's going to have 2 years.
Comment on that after this spring ball. because
he's
for
definitely going to go through
quarterback,
spring, right? He
yeah,
didn't
oh
enter
yeah,
the portal, so he has
yeah,
to go through spring. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, correct. I mean, you can always just unenroll and go somewhere where else. Like when you're in that sort of position on a roster, they're not going to spend the money to fight you like they are Darian Mensah. If Dante
Right.
were trying to pull a Mensah right now, Oregon would be suing him. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So,
right.
But if Akili, if he did that, they would be like, all right, cool, bye. You know what I mean? Not,
Right.
and that doesn't mean that they don't want him. I'm just saying like that the cost of litigation and everything else, it's why people settle lawsuits instead of paying, because they're like, all right, it's going to cost me $50,000 in legal fees, or I can pay you $10,000 to go away and then pay $10,000 in legal fees.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're like, this is a math problem. I'm not paying the extra 30 for no reason.
Exactly.
So
anyway,
I do believe that like quarterbacks can take a minute to develop. I do want to see how he does in the spring. If he has a killer spring ball, I think the future's bright. If he doesn't, he'll be a kid that ends up in the portal.
I'm a caller right now. He'll be in the portal next year. I can't see how this works out with him, with Raiola. I believe in Raiola. I believe he's going to continue to develop. He showed improvement from freshman year to sophomore year. He's going to sit here behind Dante. I think he's going to continue to improve. He's going to get in better shape. I think he's clearly going to be the guy in 27. And Achilles, he's going to have to decide, do I make the same mistake that Novosad made and stay too long, or that Ty Thompson made, or do I bounce and find a place where I can play? And so I think this time next year he'll be in the portal. That's my prediction. Beaver made that decision before even messing around with it. He's just out. Like he sees the writing on the wall. But regardless, quarterbacks in good shape. All right, running back. Gotta love the top two, right? You got Jordan Davison, De'Aaron Hill coming back, 1-2 punch, killer 1-2 punch. You got a big pounding back. I got a question for my mailbag. People are like, why don't they have more big backs like Royce Freeman? And of course, they've had Jonathan Stewart in the past. They've had Reuben Drones, who's about 220. This kid, 230, although you said he trimmed down to under 230. Regardless, if he's over 220, that's a big back to go along with De'Aaron Hill is about 205. Gives you a little bit more speed. That's a great combination, but you got to have depth. Jay Harris gone. Jaden Lamar's at Washington. Noah's done in terms of eligibility. You got a freshman coming in Tredarian Ball, and you still have DeJuan Riggs is still on the roster, who people were high on him. So but it seems like they need another dude. Do you think they might bring in another back?
Well, you missed the kid that they just flipped from Arizona.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
The
they just
temporary.
there you go. There's the depth.
Temporary signees.
Right. There's a depth.
Like a Bryson Beaver.
Right. Okay.
Who just
so they're pretty stacked at running back. We like everything there. We're cool there. You think? We're good.
Yes.
We're good.
Yeah. I do think you need one more body. I mean, if you look at this season, I mean, like not just a body, but you need one more capable human. Because
capable human.
we got down to fifth string, and that means you still got to have people for practice too. Yeah, this ain't. Yeah, practice. Yeah, we talking about practice.
So wait, there's okay. Hold on a second. Okay, so yeah, Brandon Smith, sorry, and and then there's no portal guy yet.
No, I highly doubt.
You don't think how are they going to ask someone?
Oh, I don't think that it's probably going to be a walk-on guy or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to tight end. Lost Sadiq, obviously, clearly. Smart choice by him. Yes. But, and this is a position you know nothing about, so let me carry this for you real quick. Starter Jamari Johnson was nice, man. I love the fact that he was able to flex out more and almost do a lot of the receiver stuff that Sadiq could do.
Might, and I'm going to predict he actually might be better than Kenyon Sadiq.
As a receiver or all around?
As a receiver. It would be tough to be better than Kenyon as a blocker. He's an animal. Literally an animal.
And then they brought in Andrew Olish, who was a Penn State player who's transferred. He was a 4 or 5-star kid a couple years ago.
Yeah, and it came down to Penn State and Oregon. But the only reason why they brought Olish in is because Vanderploeg left.
Right. And they lost another kid too to Cal. They lost another kid to Cal.
And Saliapaga.
Right.
Yeah,
and then they also have.
I'm a huge fan of. Like his teammates loved him. He actually didn't really want to portal, but he also was like BYU's going to be paying him almost $1 million.
Damn.
And he's for sure going to be their starter versus like taking a chance again with a situation where he would be the number 2, but then maybe the freshman kid is super, super good. Like he's just like, I just want a little more stability in my life. Plus, Oregon was going to get him nowhere near $1 million.
Right. Now, is Andrew Pugliano back?
Who?
Sorry, AJ Pugliano. Sorry.
I have no idea.
Because he was a 4-star kid, wasn't he?
Yeah, is he on the roster?
He was on the roster this year. He was a 3-star kid. I don't think he's in the portal, is he? I can't remember. Let me check. I honestly do not remember. Oregon gains and loses. Yeah, it looks like he did get in the portal. So, see, that's the thing, man. You keep losing this depth. Yeah. No, he's back. He's back. And so is Kendra Harrison. He's a 6'7" kid.
Yeah.
He was a 4-star kid.
He's the freshman kid from North Carolina.
Yeah, that guy. I mean, you watch some highlight videos of him, and it's like, yeah, that guy's not human.
Yes, dude.
How does a kid like that?
Dude, they have been getting absolute freak shows at tight end.
It's crazy.
Freak shows. I am, and to be perfectly honest with you, I'm a guy who's very confident in myself and who I am and everything else.
Right.
I wasn't built like Kenyon Sadiq. I wasn't built like this, like the freshman kid, Kendra Harrison. Like them dudes were created in labs.
Exactly.
They didn't get created like through the natural birth process. Like wherever LeBron got made at, and where Myles Garrett, LeBron James in the same lab they got created in, Kenyon Sadiq and Kendra Harrison got created in that same lab.
Yeah, so 24/7 has him as a 4-star, number 2 rated tight end, but the composite has him as a 5-star and the number 1 tight end and number 18th ranked player in the nation, period. So yeah, tight end is looking pretty golden right about now, even though you lost the all-time leader for single season touchdown receptions for a tight end. That's pretty nice. When you can lose a guy like that and be like, yeah, we're good, then things are going well.
We're like, go. No. We're not trying to get you to come back. I mean, if you want to come back, we'll take you, but it's probably best for you if you go.
Right. All right, wide receiver.
We're like, baby, please. Baby, please come back.
Oh, yeah, please. You got to come back. What would they have done? I guess they'd be going for Raiola. Raiola would be the guy. Or you thought there was someone else?
No. There was. No. If Dante wasn't coming back, Raiola was not going to be the starter for next year. I promise you that.
Who do you want to say who you thought they were going to get? I know you told me, but I don't know if you ever went public.
First of all, that it was going to be Ty Simpson. First of all,
for sure,
Ty Simpson was going to be Oregon's starting quarterback next year if Dante wasn't going to the draft. I'm telling you, if Dante was going to the draft.
All right. Okay, wide receiver. DeCorian Moore did not enter the portal, which I don't think anyone really expected, but you never know. He's back.
The Ravens are hiring Chargers defensive coordinator. Oh, wait, never mind. I thought it said Michigan was okay. Never mind. Jesse Minter is going to the Ravens as their defensive coordinator. I thought that was Michigan. Never mind. Okay. It said former Michigan. Sorry.
All right. So you got DeCorian back, Jeremiah McClellan, who really blew up this year. I love his potential. And Evan Stewart is coming back. That will be huge, having a veteran guy like that around who should just be hungry to ball out.
The wide receiver room looks crazy. And then you got Gatlin Baird. You still got Wrestler sitting on the bench. You got
Iverson Hooks, the transfer.
Yeah.
Nice slot guy. Could be like
looks crazy.
Like a Tez kind of guy. Was he UAB?
There's no lack of experience. How coming into this year with Evan Stewart hurt, and then you were like, okay, we got Gary Bryant. You brought in Malik Benson, and like you weren't real jumping over the moon about this wide receiver room. If you're saying that the best player in the wide receiver room is a true freshman, you're not usually real. That means your room ain't as deep as you need it to be because, and I've said this many times, if you're playing a bunch of true freshmen and they're some of your best players, you can have a very good team, but you can't have a championship caliber team with a bunch of true freshmen playing.
Fair.
As your best players, excuse me.
So hold on a second.
Some people don't like to, admit that, but it's just the truth. Like Miami essentially only had one true freshman playing. Granted, he was an absolute dog, and you can get away with that. But any more than that, you got problems on your hands at times. They
also got 4-star Jalen Lott coming in. We'll see how much playing time he can earn.
But they like him a lot.
And Messiah Hampton, a 4-star kid as well, coming in. Anyone else? Oh, Hudson Lewis. And they got 3 receivers coming in, 3 freshmen.
Yeah. And then Gatlin Baird off his mission, former 5-star.
Gatlin Baird, yep. There you go. Looking pretty good, man. Looking pretty solid. He's a big kid too, right?
Yes. Yeah, that white boy is bigger than I thought he was.
That white boy.
He is.
Red zone wonder.
Hope
all
so,
right.
because the last alleged red zone wonder, Kyler Casper, didn't work out very well.
Very true. All right, so the only concern we have is there's going to be some unproven dudes at a championship level on the O-line, and that can be mitigated with the addition of Seaton. Without it, there's still promise there, but that would be considered the weak link on offense. Not that it's a death like a negative yet, but it's the weakest link of the link.
Isn't that crazy? That's when you know you got a good football team. When it's like, yo, if they don't get Seaton, the O-line could be the weakest thing on this team. And every other spot, you're like potential All-American, potential All-American, potential All-American, potential All-American, potential All-American. And then the O-line, who worst case scenario will be like a Joe Moore Award semifinalist. So you're like, man, that O-line sucks.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good on offense. And I'm gonna say it all offseason. Dante Moore, I think, is gonna make just a huge jump. Like it's gonna be noticeable to everyone. There's some people out there. He needs to improve this. They're all the things that you'd expect a young quarterback to have to improve. Yes, diagnosing pressure, making quicker reads, getting rid of the ball sooner, blah, blah, blah.
That's why he's not ready to go to the NFL yet.
Exactly. And that's why he's coming back. And so he can go and review all that film, look at all his weaknesses, all his bad plays. Ever said he can work on those things all off season, iron those things out, and then come in and be a much more efficient player next year, which is going to be dangerous. Plus, the fact that you're going to have DeCorian and McClellan. He's never played with Stewart, but he's going to have a veteran guy there. He's played with Johnson clearly. So, yeah, that's going to be pretty nice. All right. Next week, we're going to talk about the defensive side, which also is looking pretty nice, especially with the additions they've made in the entire starting front four, which that's a luxury. That is not one hole.
No,
not a single hole.
Nowhere.
You have 4 impact dudes who all should be in the NFL in some capacity the following year.
Yes. Yes.
which means they're going to have to replenish that front the next year. But still, next year you're going to be. I mean, it might be. I mean,
you got a dude who turned down a low first round, early second round grade to come back.
Mateo? No.
Amari had the highest grade going into the draft this year.
Okay. Pretty nice. Pretty nice luxury.
We could literally have, and I think that schools are going to, and coaches are really going to pay attention to like that they're lining things up. When you have a team like Oregon has coming in this year, I'm cautioning myself from getting a little bit excited because it feels like Ohio State in 2024. When they returned everybody and people were like, why did everybody come back? And they're like, because we got a mission together. Right. And that's what it feels like. And you're just kind of like, dear 6 pound, 8 ounce baby Jesus, please protect these players. Please let them make good decisions every single day and wrap themselves up in a nice piece of bubble wrap.
100%. All right. That's it for the Ducks Confidential podcast. We'll see you next week and break down the defense. What?
Y'all, look out on Unafraid Show on YouTube. I got a whole breakdown of Oregon coming on about Oregon and where they are really at right now. Looking back pre-landing, current landing to see what's true and what's not true because, a lot of people will tell you a lot of things.
Okay. Yeah. Search Unafraid Show on YouTube. Check out George Wrighster Show. And we'll be back next week with another episode of the Ducks Confidential podcast.